Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use Vichy's Purete Thermale Perfecting Toner, which can be used daily in the morning and or evening, and it is suitable for all skin types. Now this toner is an hydrating and soothing toner. It should not be confused with an exfoliating acid toner, although if you have an exfoliating acid toner or serum at home, you can still use it along with this toner. There isn't any issues since it only hydrates and soothes the skin. Now when working with this toner, you can basically use it on its own or include it in your already existing skincare routine depending on your overall skin needs and concerns. Now then the order of application becomes important, and as you know, I like to prepare some example skincare routines that I do in PowerPoint slides so that you can see the order of application visually, that you have some examples and recommendations of certain products, as well as an overall general guide of how much you should use of each product. Now I'm trying those products all myself with my husband, and he has a different skin type than I do, and so based on trying it out, we are going to kind of like get to the middle point where we say, well, this would be the right amount that we can advise so that you can properly use it over your face and neck. Now if you however feel that you should need to use a bit more depending on your skin type or what else you're using along with it, then of course you can adjust the amount, but always keep in mind, specifically when it comes to toners, exfoliating acid products and serums, that they should be able to absorb into the skin and it shouldn't sit on top of the skin surface. So I want to get started with my morning skincare routine. So you're getting started with washing your face using a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs, or basically just wash your face with like lukewarm water if that's what you usually do in the morning. So wash your face properly, rinse it off, pat the skin dry. Then immediately after your cleansing step, you're moving on to Vichy's toner. Either apply it with your hands or with a cotton pad, swipe it across your face and neck. You're going to leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. And then if you should feel the need, you can follow on with any other serums, as well as maybe an eye serum or eye cream, and then move on to your moisturizer if you should feel the need. And then during daytime when being exposed to the sun, don't forget sun protection, or just use a moisturizer that already contains SPF where you have the 2-in-1. Now everywhere where you can see optional, you can use or do this step depending on your overall needs, but it's fine to skip them if you just want to keep the main focus on the toner itself. When it comes to an evening skincare routine, it's basically the same setup, just without the sun protection, and you may want to change your cleansing step. Depending on how stubborn your sunscreen and or makeup may be, you are able to some extent remove it with your daily gentle cleanser. However, if it is a bit more difficult to remove with your daily gentle cleanser, I recommend either doing a double cleanse where you're using an oil or balm cleanser at first and then your daily gentle cleanser, or use your daily gentle cleanser twice, or maybe use micellar water at first and then continue with your cleansing step. And then you can move on to the toner, maybe serums, eye cream or eye serum, and then your moisturizer if you should feel the need. So this would be the entire setup. Again, you do not have to include all those steps, but if you have certain products, this would be basically the order of application. And there's one additional point that I want to emphasize, and this is, as already mentioned earlier, with the exfoliating acid toner or serum. So if you have an exfoliating acid toner or serum, in most cases, let's go with the texture, you would use it after your toning step, after your hydrating and soothing toning step, but before your serums as well as creams. So then this would be the setup, but depending on the texture or maybe also the feeling that you prefer, you could also do it the other way around, where you're using your exfoliant at first and then move on to the hydrating and soothing toner. There are benefits on both sides. So if you're using the hydrating and soothing toner at first, this already acts a bit like a buffer, and it has already like hydration on the skin so that exfoliating acid isn't as harsh on the skin. At the other way around, when using your exfoliating acid toner or serum at first, this can already help you to loosen some of the dead skin cells on the skin surface, and then when layering your hydrating toner and other treatments on top, they may penetrate better into the skin. So this would be the other benefit. So when it comes to the order of application based on two major focuses, well, try out both and see what works the best for you. Now again, if you want to go over those example skincare routines in your own time, I'm going to leave them in the description box down below so that you can either just check them out again in your own time or download them if you want to use it as a guide. But now I really want to keep my focus on the application. And I have a setup right here, just basically focusing on Vichy's products. Of course, you do not have to stick to one line, but this is just one example that I want to share with you because the order of application is basically nice and clean in the setup right here, which I also now want to share with you visually. So we are going to get started with the first step, which is washing your face using a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. This is just an example. This would be Vichy's Purete Thermale Gel Cleanser. If you have a different cleanser, go ahead and exchange it. Just make sure to read on the back of the packaging on how you should use your cleanser, because the directions may change depending on the cleanser that you're using. In this case, with this cleanser, it's a bit confusing when it comes to the instructions. Depending on what website you're looking at, they do say that you can basically use it around the eyes, but just make sure to not get it into your eyes. However, for example, on the US website, they say, well, please avoid the eye contour and do not get it into your eyes. So depending on where you live and basically depending on where you're looking it up, they will tell you different directions. Now, I want to make you aware that this one contains fragrance. So if you have already a bit more of a sensitive area, like eye area in general, or your eyes are going to tear up very quickly, then of course it would be best to avoid the eye area in general, and then maybe also use a fragrance-free cleanser instead. However, if you do not mind it and you usually have no issues with fragranced cleansers, then this shouldn't be an issue for you as well, because for me personally, I feel like it smells really nice and I do not experience any irritation when I'm using it around the eyes. But again, just make sure to not get it into your eyes nor into your mouth. And if that's the case, please rinse it immediately with water. So in this specific case with Vichy's cleanser, it's advised to apply it on wet skin. So the first step that I'm going to do is now wetting my face, neck and hands with lukewarm water to warm water, and then I'm going to massage a cleanser onto wet skin. So let's go ahead and do this. Then go ahead and use about 1 to 2 pumps, so about a coin size amount of your cleanser in the palm of your hand. About that much, more or less. Rub your hands together and then gently massage it all over your face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute. So, and once you have massaged the cleanser all over your face and neck, you now can go ahead and again rinse it off with lukewarm water to warm water. Now, in case you should have troubles removing the cleanser properly from the skin, you can also go ahead and use a soft and fresh washcloth in between, which you're going to wet, and this can help you to remove the cleanser a bit better. So now go ahead and take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. So once you're done with the cleansing step, you can immediately move on to the next step. There's no need to wait in between. Now the next step can already be the application of Vichy's Hydrating and Soothing Toner, and then follow on with your exfoliant if you like to, or do it vice versa. Either way is fine. Try out both methods and see what works and feels the best for you. But in this specific case, I want to keep my focus on the Hydrating and Soothing Toner on its own. And so it can not only help you to hydrate the skin and to soothe the skin, but it's also able to remove any last traces of makeup or maybe sunscreen if you have missed certain areas. And if you want to use it for that specific purpose, I recommend using it with a cotton pad so that you can get the residue basically on your cotton pad so that you're able to properly take it off. But I do also want to say that if you have done your cleansing step properly, either by just using your daily cleanser or doing a double cleansing method, then there shouldn't be any residue of sunscreen and makeup left. So in this case, you just just would use it as an hydrating and soothing toner. So there are two ways on how you can work with this toner. Either use it on a cotton pad or apply it with your hands, and both methods are fine. It's basically your personal preference. So if you're going to use it with a cotton pad, then I recommend using about a coin size amount on a cotton pad so that you can see about the size of a coin. You have to use a bit more on a cotton pad as if you would apply it with your hands, because the cotton pad absorbs a bit more product. So you do not need to fully soak up the entire cotton pad with the toner. You just need to use about a coin size amount. I'm going to show you now how much this would be. Of course, this is just a general guide that I want to share with you, but this should be more than enough to swipe it evenly across your face and neck so that you can feel that you are able to basically blend the product all over and that your skin feels slightly damp, which are the signs that you had used enough and that the skin is able to fully absorb it. If you now say, well, I want to use it with a cotton pad, swipe it across. Once you have done the application, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. When it comes to the hands, use between 5 to 8 drops. Now, if you can count the drops, this depends on the toner in general and the texture. With this one, I find it's a bit difficult, but you still can manage to count the drops. If not, use about a coin size amount in the palm of your hand. I rather have that you're using a bit less and try and see how far you can blend it than if you're going to use too much and your skin feels completely wet. Your skin shouldn't feel wet, but just slightly damp, so that you were able to blend it properly all over. So then rub your hands together and gently blend it over your face as well as neck. Now this toner does include fragrance. So again, if you have a bit more of a sensitive eye area or your eyes are going to tear up easily when getting like fragrance products too close to the eyes, then please avoid the actual eye area in general as well as contour so that it's not going to irritate your eyes. However, if you do not have a problem with fragrance in general, then you can also use it on the eye contour. Just make sure to not use it on top of your eyelids, nor getting it into your eyes, nor into your mouth. If that's the case, rinse it immediately with water. And once you're done with the application, again, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now you can stop right here and basically just do the cleansing step, then use the toner, and that's basically it in your evening skincare routine or during the day. But when being exposed to the sun and you want to prevent premature aging or sun damaged skin in general, then please do not forget to follow with sun protection afterwards. Use about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon for your face, neck and décolletage and apply it evenly all over to properly protect the skin. I have a specific video for you in the top right corner with all the information as well as the entire application. Now, if you now say, well, I do not want to use a toner on its own, I do have other products at home as well that I want to include, well, then go ahead and do so. The next step would be serums. And when it comes to serums or overall treatments, you would layer from the thinnest to the thickest texture. This is like an overall general guide that I can share with you. And how much you're going to use of your treatments is really important, because you always want to make sure that it's able to properly absorb into the skin and that it's not going to feel thickly on the skin or heavy or too wet or greasy on the skin, because this sometimes can not only end up with an uncomfortable feeling, but it also may cause peeling or to some extent irritation, depending on what the treatments that you're using. So again, as already mentioned in this specific video, I want to keep my focus on Vichy's products. So I have two serums right here. The first one would be Vichy's Lift Active Vitamin C Serum. That one has a very thin texture, like similar to the toner. It's very water-like, and in this specific case, use about 3 to 6 drops for your face and neck and then apply it evenly all over. Keep in mind, this is just a general guide that I want to share with you based on what I have tested for myself as well as my husband. We have different skin types, so we wanted to come together to a point where we can share with you a general guide on how much you're going to use, so that you're not ending up with irritation, you're not going to end up with too much, but you just have like the right amount for your face and neck, and that the product is able to absorb into the skin. So this would be one general guide. The other one would be if you have like a thicker texture serum, such as Vichy's Minimal 89 Probiotic Serum. In this specific case, you would use between 3 to 5 drops for your face and neck, as that one has a thicker texture, which means that you can like easily blend it all over your face and neck. You have more time to blend it because it does not absorb as quickly as if you have a serum that has a very thin like texture. If you are working with thicker and stickier texture serums, then I recommend using between 2 to 3 drops, because if you're going to use more than that, then it easily can feel uncomfortable on the skin and it may feel very tight on the skin. And if you're working with a serum with a pump, use between 1 to 2 pumps. Start off with 1 pump, or if you should have a gel-like treatment, use about a pea-size amount for your face and neck. So this would be an overall general guide depending on what you may be using at home. And once you have applied your serum or treatment in general all over your face and neck, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Then after that, you can follow on with an eye serum. If you have a serum like Vichy's Minimal 89 Hydrating Serum, then you can use between 1 to 2 pumps. It has a thicker texture, so I recommend starting off with 1 pump. This should be enough for both eyes. However, depending on how quickly it absorbs it, you may want to add another pump to it. Or if you have an eye serum with a dropper, use between 1 to 2 drops. But I wouldn't use more than that, because then it can end up by being just too much for the skin to absorb, since it is just a small area. Once you have applied your eye serum, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then you can follow on to your moisturizer or hydrating product in general, specifically focusing on the Vichy's line. As you can see, I have, for example, the Minimal 89 Hyaluronic Acid Booster. That one can be used as a serum or moisturizer. So in this specific case, you would use between 1 to 2 pumps for your face and neck. Once you have applied it, leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. However, if you do have a moisturizer, which can be a very lightweight moisturizer or a richer one, use about a bean size amount for your face and neck, so that you can evenly and thinly apply it all over. So I'm going to apply Vichy's Aqualia Thermal Light Moisturizing Cream. They have a light one and a rich one, and in this case I'm just working with the light one. So use about a bean size amount on your finger, about that much more or less, or if you have a moisturizer in a tube, then squeeze out about a bean size amount. Rub your fingers together and then evenly apply it all over. So, and once you have applied your moisturizer or hydrating thicker serum texture all over, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And this could be it in your evening skincare routine. However, again, during daytime when being exposed to the sun, please don't forget to follow with sun protection, or just switch to a moisturizer that already contains SPF and use a moisturizer without SPF in your evening skincare routine, so that you can adjust it accordingly. And this would be the entire setup of a morning as well as evening skincare routine when working with Vichy's Perfecting Toner. And I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful, and if you did so, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it. And if you now want to know more about skincare in general and see the different applications, I have several videos for you on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to link some of them at the end of this video so that you can keep on watching. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye!